Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Mind, Your Reality, Your Results. We are a weekly show where every week I talk to an expert in the matter of mindset in a whole range of businesses with the point of helping you have a different, better mindset that gets you the results you want. If you don't know me, my name is Leah Fink. I'm the owner and founder of All Thrive, where we help people understand themselves better to have amazing relationship and change their lives. If you want to check out any of my workshops, you can check out allthrive.ca, and I would love to connect with you. I am so pleased today to be joined by Bisi MacGregor. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So you guys, I hope you are getting excited too. And if you do want to join us in commenting and questioning, we would absolutely love that. Feel free to put that in so we can answer those questions. If you are watching this after the fact and it's no longer live, also feel free to put in your questions and we'll make sure to get back to you. You don't want to miss out on this. So let's start, Bisi. I loved it when we met and the pieces you were talking about around being fearless, which is obviously the topic for this episode. So do you want to start by telling us about yourself and how you got to this?
Absolutely, sure. Thank you so much for having me, Leah. Love that you have this platform to talk about everything and anything mindset. I think it's not spoken about enough. Yet it's so much needed. It's so needed in the world. So I am the founder of Fear to Freedom, and I'm the creator of the Live More, Fear Less method, which is where I use this methodology to work with high achievers to go after what they desire without fear ever holding them back again. And as you asked, well, how did you get here? Because I was faced with those fears as well. I say to folks, I've had 3 divorces in my life, and don't judge me if you're watching me. They're not all men, neither are they all women. There's one man. My corporate world, my background is corporate finance, and the biggest of all was from myself, my old self, who settled, who was afraid of her own shadow, who couldn't speak up for herself, who succumbed to the doubts and the anxieties and just settled for less than I knew that I wanted or could have. And until I divorced myself from her, could I actually move forward in the direction of what I desired and create a life that I wanted, which is space and entrepreneurial journey, to be a coach, to lead people, to be able to stand up for themselves and overcome self-doubt and the fears that hold them back in their world. So in a nutshell, that's how I came about this whole thing. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. And I certainly appreciate that part of your story that brought you here. And as we start off too, something I'm interested in is, before we start talking about being fearless, what does being fearless mean to you?
I love that. Yeah, I do get that question a lot. Well, what does fearless mean to you? And what does it mean to be fearless? I can't be fearless. I'm always feeling fear. So just for starters, here's one thing I want everyone to know from my point of view. Being fearless does not mean being without fear. Fearless does not mean being without fear. Being fearless means, to me, owning who you are, knowing who you are, and walking in full ownership of that person. Being able to walk into a room and stand tall as you are, not crouching, not trying to hide parts of yourself, being able to stand up for yourself, being able to express who you be without going through filters, just expressing with tact, obviously, with compassion. That to me is fearless.
I love it. And I love the fact, like you said, I don't think it's human. I don't think it's possible to be human and not experience fear.
Mm-mm.
But like you said, the fearless is going beyond that and not letting it control your life. So that is wonderful. And obviously you are an expert on this topic, and I would love to hear. I know you have a bit of a process that you take people through that you're going to share today about how to move to this ideal state of not living and wallowing in your fear.
Yeah, absolutely. So I walk people through this Live More Fearless methodology, because here's what I know to be true. Fear is the gateway to your freedom. What stands between where you are right now and where you want to be is nothing but fear. So what I teach my clients is to see fear for what it is, a defense mechanism. It's just trying to keep you safe so that they can shift the way they look at it and get to process it differently. Because the truth of the matter is, the successful people we see out there, all the people we watch on TV, the people who we read their books and we see them, and it's not that they were born without fear. No, they just know how to process it differently. That's all. So the very first step in my methodology is awareness. Awareness. Because without awareness, you are oblivious to what needs to shift, what needs to change. You're just walking around unawake, which a lot of people are doing. One of the statistics that I heard read on that shifted so much for me years ago was this: more than 75% of your decisions are fear-based. More than 75% of our decisions. And if you think about it, how many times are you making decisions? What shall I wear? Should I wear this? Should I not? Should I do my hair this way? Should I not? Should I say that? Should I not? So most of the time, you're saying yes to a thing you want to say no to. You say no to a thing you want to say yes to. You get home, you beat yourself up. Why did I do that? Oh, I'm not going to. You wake up the next day and you do it all over again. 75% of the time. So awareness is all about waking up to what's around you, waking up to who you are, what you're about. How do you make decisions? Who is in the driver's seat? Is it you, or is it your fears? Is it you, or is it your fear? So creating the life that you want, getting the bold results that you want requires a high level of awareness. And under awareness, one of the tips that I give to people is get clear on what you want and name it. Name it. So many people don't want to make a decision about what they desire in case it does not work. I'm just going to step my toe and let me see if it works. So you're in limbo. You doubt yourself. So you don't make this full-hearted decision. You don't name it. You don't want to make it public just in case you get judged around it, just in case you get asked about it. And here's the thing: you cannot have what you won't name. You can't claim what you won't name. So make a decision. That's step one under this pillar of awareness. Super powerful when you get to make a decision. Super powerful. So step two, the pillar for step two is awaken. And here's what happens when you begin to become more aware of how you move, how you make decisions. What's about you? Are you reacting, or are you actually responding in situations? A lot of people think they are making decisions, whereas they're just reacting, which is basically straight from fear, because fear uses your memory box, basically. What's happened in the past? Oh, that looks familiar. This is how we respond. That's it. So what begins happening when you start to up-level your awareness is you begin to wake up to the fact that you actually have what it takes. You're capable. And I'm a true believer that everything that you need to get you to the next level, to get you to achieve that audacious goal, to stand up for yourself, to make the impact that you're called to make, is already on the inside of you. It just needs to be awakened and activated. That's all. That's it. So in this step of awaken, the tip I give to my clients is this: take on your stretches. That's it. Just take on your stretches. What does that mean? I'll give you an example, because this literally happened today to me. Yeah. So I'm here today and going through my day, and I'm feeling uneasy. I'm feeling like I'm not doing the things I should be doing. I could kind of hear the chatter. You're not doing enough. What's going on? You're not doing enough. But the truth is, this is the decision that I had made. I had moved some things off of my calendar because I wanted to create space. And what happened was I moved out of my comfort zone, and now it's uncomfortable. That's a stretch. right? So here's, I'm going to give you a tool, if I may, Leah, that I work with my clients on. So if you have a blank piece of paper, grab that. And I want you to draw 3 circles, 3 concentric circles. So it's going to be big, bigger, biggest, one inside another. So big, bigger, biggest. Now that centerpiece is your comfort zone. So for me today, my comfort zone was I'd have a packed calendar. That's it. I'd have a packed calendar. It starts from 11 to 4. Okay, maybe every hour with a couple of breaks in between, but 11 to 4. That's it. Comfort zone. So when you're going through this illustration with me, I want you to be thinking about the goal that you want to achieve. What is that goal? Make it measurable. Now, I want you to paint what your comfort zone looks like. What does your comfort zone look like? If you're a business owner and you want to make a certain amount of money a month, what is it that you make today? What do you do to make that money today? If you're looking to lose weight, what do you do today? How much carbs do you eat? How much protein do you eat? How much water do you drink? What is your comfort zone? It's life as it is right now. Paint that picture. The next level is your stretch zone. Now, your stretch zone is where you kind of beat yourself up and you also build self-confidence, self-esteem. You beat yourself up because your stretch zone contains the things that you know how to do. You just don't do them. You just don't do them. You know you can drink an extra glass of water a day. You just don't do it. You know you could reach out to 1 or 2 more people. You just don't do it. So what I want you to do is come up with 3 things. What are 3 things that would help you reach that goal that you know how to do, but you don't do? They're just 3 small steps. That's it. That's it. 3 small steps. Now the next ring is the risk zone. Now the risk zone takes a little bit of courage because you're not sure if you can do it. You're not even sure if it could work. It might be a step necessary to help you achieve that goal, but you're not quite sure. Come up with 2 things. Just 2 things. That's it. What are those things? Maybe it's hire a coach. Maybe it's reach out for support. Whatever it is, 2 things. That's it. Now, all of that space outside of that last circle, all that space, that's the die zone. And it feels just like that. It feels like you are going to die. One thing. That's all you need to come up with. One thing. And I got to give credit to Rhonda Britton, who taught me how to use this tool because it was a game changer. Because what happens is most people take their goal, they try to attack it at once without assessing the levels of fear associated with it. So you're going for the die zone, but it's too scary. You can't breathe. Your brilliance gets challenged. Doubt kind of creeps in a little bit. All of a sudden you start saying, I don't know. Maybe I'm not worthy. Or maybe, it's not for me. Maybe it's not time. So here is how you use it. You break down everything, all your goal in the buckets that I've just told you. Forget about your risk and die zone for now. Just forget about those 2 areas. Take on your stretches. That's it. Just take on your stretches. Those things that are easy for you to do, but you don't do, just take those on. That's it. Now, here's what's going to happen, Leah. When you step out of your comfort zone to take that stretch, guess what shows up? Your
fear?
Right. Because your fear has been assigned to babysit you in your comfort zone. That is its job, period. And it does it very well. It does it very well. So when you go to take your stretch, your fear is going to show up. What are you doing? Just like it showed up for me. What do you mean you only have 2 meetings on your calendar today? You have all this space. You're not doing anything. You're not doing enough. It's going to speak to you in the language that you understand. Why? In order to bring you back into your comfort zone. Most people retreat. Most people retreat. But now that you've heard this, you're going to notice it. I think that's just my comfort zone. I think that's just my fear, trying to get me back into my comfort zone. This is what happens when you find that you sit down to do the work and all of a sudden, I think I need to go clean the garage. I think it's time to go arrange the closet. That's your fear talking. So your job is to notice it and just take your step. Just take the step, move. Game changer. There's so much in this creating those baby steps. And you're going to start noticing also those fear responses. And what I mean by fear responses is when you step out of your comfort zone, those things that show up, whether you're procrastinating. Oh, I have to get it perfect. Oh, let me call this person. Let me call that person first. Let me get buy-in. That might be your fear response. And I'd share a gift with you so you could get a cheat sheet of possible fear responses so that you can identify it for yourself. So this is what happens in the second pillar of Awaken. I hope this is are we clear?
Oh,
good.
This is amazing. I'm just enthralled.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I had a client once, I got to tell you about her. Multi-passionate lady, serial entrepreneur, and here she comes with another idea. I want to start a coconut snack business where I'm providing snacks for. And she just thought it was so big. I mean, she's a mother, she's a wife, she has two businesses already. Now she has this idea, and she just thought it was so big for her. We applied the same tool, breaking down her goal into these small steps and her taking it step by step. She was able to create the leading coconut factory in Nigeria.
Wow.
Yes. Those small steps, that small hinges open big doors. So then this leads us to step 3. Activate. Activate is the next pillar. That's the last pillar in the Live More Fearless methodology. It's time to activate what you've just awakened. It's kind of like you start a car and you want to get to the store or wherever it is you want to go. You got to put that sucker in drive. You got to put your foot to the gas pedal, right? Yeah. That's what happens in this step with my clients as well, where we activate the mindset, the beliefs, new habits, new tools to help them empower that. Not only do they move in the world that they are enough, but they get to call on demand the courage that they want, that they need in order to move them towards what they want. So my tip here for you today is this: acknowledge movement forward. Acknowledge movement forward. And you might say, well, Bisi, that's so simple. What are you talking about? Why? We hear this all the time. Because you're constantly waiting for the finish line to assess if you passed or failed. That's why. Everyone's waiting. Let me just get there. Let me see if I did it well. Let me see if I did it right. And then I can pat myself. I'm not even patting myself on the back. And then I can wait for somebody to pat me on the back. Acknowledge movement forward. Every movement outside of your comfort zone is a win. Think about how long your fear has kept you in your comfort zone. So a small step outside of it, acknowledge yourself. Because here's the truth. Your fear has convinced you should have done it faster, better, quicker, before now, more perfect, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, your fear might motivate you, and I hear this all the time, but I don't know, Bisi, I think a little fear is good because it'll motivate me. Sure, it may motivate you, but I promise you, it will never let you be satisfied at all, because you should have done it sooner. Oh, you're doing it now? Yeah, it's great, but your mates did it yesterday. Right? So acknowledge forward movement. It is a win. It's not about doing everything right. It's not about doing everything as much as you can. It's just those baby steps outside of your comfort zone. So now what begins happening is that when you get clear and decide on what you want, and you're not in limbo, you stand firm. This is it. This is what I'm creating. You draw out your stretch, risk, or die, and you start taking on your stretches. You start taking on your stretches, and then you start acknowledging forward movement. Your comfort zone begins to expand. you begin to create new neural pathways in your brain, which is where your beliefs are stored. You get to start reprogramming yourself to say, I can do this. This is also how you build confidence, foundational, strong confidence that's repeatable. This is basically the nutshell of the live more, fear less methodology. I'll tell you about my Cherie, one of my previous clients, a trucking consultant who helps truckers scale their business. When we first worked together back in 2020, and it was May, and we did this whole tool for her, and her die zone back in May 2020 was bringing in $50,000 contracts. I said, okay, let's just take on your stretch, acknowledge forward movement, just stretch every day. 5 months later, her die zone, you ready, was signing a $5.5 million contract.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is what happens. You begin to expand, just expand and expand, doing steps 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Simple. May not be quite easy, but simple.
Wow. That's given me so much to think about, and thank you. I mean, you've broken it down so nicely is what I love about it. And for people maybe who are like, I don't know if I'll watch this, I don't live with a lot of fear, breaking it down to it doesn't all present as, oh my God, I don't want to public speak, or oh my God, this is so scary. It's those little tiny steps.
Yes.
Is such a good thing to remember. Like what do you do every day that you don't realize is pushing fear or living fear? Because 75% it's a lot of decisions.
Yes. And we are constantly making decisions. You know, people think it's a big decision. Am I going back to school or not? No. Every moment that you wake up and say, okay, should I get up now and start my day? Or that's a decision. You're constantly making decisions. Should I hit the snooze button or start my day? That's a decision.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Wow. And what a difference obviously that makes on your life. And how your comfort zone, and I've always found this an interesting one in the work I do as well. Your comfort zone can be about keeping you unhappy. You put so much effort and fear around, I better not be too happy, better not enjoy this too much. It's such a contradictory thing for our brains to do to us.
Absolutely. And fear may not use those words, but don't be too happy. And I usually say that your comfort, just because it's called comfort zone, doesn't mean it's comfortable. Most people are suffocating in their comfort zone. They're unhappy. They're unfulfilled. They're overwhelmed. They are burned out, tapped out. I mean, this is why we see people going to this or doing things they don't necessarily love, but they just think there's no other, this is what I know. And they keep going back to it day after day because it's their comfort zone. It just means it's familiar. That's all. It's it's known. Yeah.
Their habit zone.
That's it. It's your habit zone. Exactly. It's your habit zone. Yep. Yeah.
So if someone was hearing this and they're like, this sounds great, I'm sure it's harder to do in practice, because of course we can all go, I know there's things I should be doing. How would they work with you? How do you support people through this process?
So I do private coaching. I do run trainings as well. In fact, I have a masterclass coming up this weekend on Saturday. It's called Unburdened, Breakthrough with Soulful Intentions. It is going to be phenomenal and powerful, because during our time together, 2 hours together, I get to dive deep with you on a tool that has literally been life-changing for many of my clients. Just like I gave this practical tool today, I'm going to walk through this unburdened tool that will help you unburden yourself from many of the assumptions and expectations that you have knowingly and unknowingly subscribed to, but they've held you captive and not moving towards what it is that you dream and desire. So in 2 hours, your courage will be strengthened, and that path before you will be cleared in ways that may not have been in years. So if you are on the verge of your next level, you feel that call to your next level, but you haven't been quite able to cross over, you want to be here. You want to be in Unburdened.
Amazing. And we will make sure for everyone that that link and Bisi's contact information gets put in the comments, so you don't need to worry about trying to find this on Google. We will make sure you have that. Just as we start wrapping up here, is there anything else that you would like to share with people, a reminder or a confidence boost as they start on this journey?
Yeah, I love it. See, this is, all isn't lost. All isn't lost. There's no reason why you can't thrive, especially now. There's no reason why. It's all a matter of understanding what fear looks like, what it sounds like, and just working with it. It doesn't go away. It does its job, but inherent in its doing its job, it hinders your growth and expansion. And everything you want is outside of that comfort zone. So it's possible. That's what my point here is, it is possible for you to live the life that you desire. Possible and needed in the world.
And every day you can take steps to celebrate that, to
That's
celebrate
right.
movement towards that.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, this has been so wonderful. I hope everyone was going through this with a piece of paper and actually practicing this, because there's some great information here. Thank you so much for being here today, Bisi.
Thank you so much for having me, Leah. Super, super, super thankful.
Amazing. And thank you everyone for joining. I hope this has been a great time for you, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.